Hi, team. Welcome to the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic, where we live stream the game while talking about news in the SWTOR community. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 212. And playing alongside me, as always, is Seema.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Seema. Hey, how about we play some SWTOR? All right.
Play.
So here's what we're doing.
Let's play some SWTOR.
There's a little bit of a reboot for the podcast. We're sort of changing this into a hybrid playthrough live stream of the game while we talk news and community news and things like that, talk about our guild a little bit. But what we're going to do to kick it off and going to continue throughout this first season is roll a character from scratch. We're both going to roll characters. We're going to start on Korriban and talk about all the parts of the game that we miss, and as well still talk about current news and things that are coming up as well. So I'm going to get kicked off here and start a character. One thing that I noticed when I took a look at this and was about to create a character and trying this out as we were getting ready for the podcast was this is a screen that I had not seen yet. So this is one of the reasons that I was interested in getting back and doing this and seeing it all from scratch again, because I like this game and I'm excited to do it. But yeah, you saw this too. Do you have three options when you go to the character select screen now as well,
that's right,
Seema?
Yeah, I had to read them and everything to figure out which one I actually wanted. Right.
I hit the wrong one to start, and it was claiming that it was going to be using up some sort of token. I do have two boosted characters that I could use, but that's not what we're doing. So I'm going to pick this bottom one here, create a character, and we're going to be starting with a class that we're both pretty familiar with, but we're going to do the whole class story. And the reason is because we need to talk and play, but we may switch this up in future seasons and do something a little different. I didn't want to play a DPS juggernaut and not know any of the abilities and look really weird while I was doing it.
It's like we're bad enough at multitasking as it is.
Right. So I'm going with a Sith sorcerer. And I think that's what you did as well, didn't you, Seema?
Yep.
All right. So while I'm picking some of my characteristics here, what did you roll as your Sith sorcerer? We'll see it here in just a second, but
yes, I decided to go human. I was going to go with a Sith, but I felt like with her red color, I just wouldn't be happy with it. It's just too dark for me. So I went back to my comfort zone of the human model. So that's where I am. Although I did give her a saucy short haircut.
So we'll see that shortly. I'm going to pick Ratataki because I think that's awesome for sorcerers. That's what I like to usually roll my sorcerers as for whatever reason. You may not have all of these character classes, these species unlocked though, when you go to your game. I just thought of that. I have
I don't.
Do you not have them all unlocked?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I do. I have every single one unlocked. I think in order to get it unlocked, you have to level up that species to level 50. Or you can pay some amount of credits or cartel coins to unlock it as well. So I have them all unlocked, so I'm able to pretty much pick anything, which is interesting because then you can sort of break lore and make well, although we have Chiss Jedi in the game, you can make Chiss Sith and things like that, or the Tan Zabraks. You can use the Republic. Traditionally Republic species to make your Sith warriors and things like that. But anyway, I'm picking Ratataki. My Ratataki is going to be a dude because I am a dude. Let me turn the sound on here. We're going to keep sound on while we play this too. I like body type 2. I'm probably going to turn him into a droid as we play through anyway. But let me go through here. I think head number 12 is what I like. No scars, 0, 1 on the complexion, 1 on the scars is what I typically choose. Eye color, I like that real pale eye color on the Ratataki. No jewelry. I'm not the jewelry fan. And then this is the tattoos that I like the best. Okay, it's not turning the sound on. Because, I think that looks pretty cool. And his name, guess what his name is going to be, Seema?
Henry.
It is not.
No. George.
It's going to be Mock. Oh, hi, Mock.
Why, Mock?
I'm using a special character in my name for the first time in any of my characters besides an apostrophe, but I'm doing a tilde over the A. So M tilde A X X. I've used up 26 other maxes on this server. So I'm running out of choices.
But an alphabet is not one.
So there we go. I will. Woo, that's a little loud. Look at this. Let this play a sec. Yes, this is Empire. Okay, this music is quite a bit louder than I had it earlier. Probably just because it's in the cutscene. Since we don't need to read, let's skip past this part and get right to our opening cinematic. I'd recommend everybody watch the opening cinematic for any of the new characters you create. They have changed since launch. I don't remember all of the ones which changed and in what ways, but I know they have changed a little bit. So let's take a look at the Sith, the Sith Inquisitor opening cinematic. Oh, the volume's off here. Dang it. You know what? Let me stop this, get that volume back on, and start it over for everybody, because you do want to see this cinematic. There's some good good quotes that we can talk about. So let me log back out and go back in. Spacebar. That's right, Zen. We will not be but we will be limiting our space barring.
Except we're going to start with space barring, but after that,
well,
we'll
that
only
opening
do like 90% space barring.
That opening crawl we don't need. All right, here we go. Let's hear him call us slave 15 times.
Like on Tython, that one dialogue that's Meneas.
Meneas. Shut up, Meneas. You're an idiot, Meneas. I'm looking around. Oh, that guy's gonna be trouble. I can tell already. What's his name? I forgot. We'll find out shortly.
He shoved you. You're not gonna take that, are you? I think you should kill him.
I should. You think I'll get the chance? I'm hoping.
The
Fingers
last
crossed.
one to arrive is finally here. I hope you don't think you're special.
All right,
It would be
hearken.
a shame if freedom went to your head. Or if you somehow got the idea you didn't need to pass your trials to become Sith. Lord Zash has tasked me with sorting through you refuse to find one worthy of being her apprentice.
Is
And
he
I
calling
intend
us
to
refuse?
do just that.
Queen of refuse, queen of garbage. All right. Now, I don't have a light dark choice here, Seema, but I think we made a little pact on the side, didn't we? Maybe we'll put it to a vote later, but we were thinking, since neither of us have really played dark side all the way, any character ever, we may do that. So we'll open it up. If we don't get to it, maybe if you have feedback and you're just listening to this after the fact, give us some votes in comments or on Twitter, and we'll see what we're gonna do.
I even have a chopstick so that when I have to press 1 for the dark sword choice, I can hit it. I don't have to touch it with my finger.
So you have plausible deniability. That's a great idea. All right, Harkin. I always was sassed off to Harkin anyway, regardless. So there's not really a way to play this dark. I intend to do just that. Try not to cry.
Don't get all sentimental on us. We've only just met.
I won't. Now the rest of you gutter trash already know your trial. Get going while I bring our latecomer up to speed.
Watch your back, friend. And don't worry, it'll be all right. He
I like
can't
this
kill us
one.
all.
We could take
I'll
him.
attack from the front. You attack from behind, and we'll see how he fares.
Yeah. Looks like you can handle yourself.
As she backs away
Now,
slowly.
slave, for your trial. There's a hermit named Spindrol who lives in the tomb of Ajunta Paul in the Valley of the Dark Lords. Spindrol's a lunatic, but Lord Zash sees him as some kind of prophet. Once you find him, he will test you.
All right, so that's the first slave. He's only called us slave once so far. Don't worry if I have to.
Fine. I will seek the insane hermit in the incredibly dangerous tomb and take his little test.
But there, you know your task. Spindrol lives in the tomb of Ajunta Paul in the Valley of the Dark Lords. Don't keep Spindrol waiting, slave.
Slave. Slave number 2. There we go.
Oh, we'll keep him waiting.
All right. Now I get to walk out of this for the first time.
I mean, Spindrel has got to know that we've got 50 things in the mailbox we have to deal with first.
Hey, what's that? Juvenile War Rancor. Is that yours?
No. Oh,
no?
Maybe. Yeah, it is.
It is a... Hello, Seema Zing Zing.
Hello,
Yeah,
Axe the Gray. Gray.
It's not a tilde over an N. Yeah, I think I only have about 57 males also. So, yep. Only 57. I haven't done, like, a lot of the extra.
I have 58.
You have 58. Jeez.
Yeah.
It's one more. My mails go to 11. So if you are new to the game, you may not have anything in your mailbox, but for those of us that have been around for a while, there are tons of things that you might have. We're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do with this stuff, Seema. I think, like, one thing we could do in particular is we could grab a companion. If you have Nico or Shea Vizsla, there are companions you can get at level 1, which is sort of nice, because now you could have companions as you start leveling out your character right from the start. I think the only thing I'm going to take right now, though, is an astromech, because, of course, we need an astromech for the podcast, right?
Right.
Which is this one? Is it?
I think we need a juvenile war
colored one.
rancor.
Is it pink? Is this a pink astromech? M83R. You start recording, astromech. Oh, where'd you get that war rancor? Do I have one of those? I don't know. Anyway.
Got him out of the mailbox.
The other thing I'm going to do before I go down and start killing Kalor slugs here on beautiful Korriban is go what I do on all my characters, which is go to the interface editor and change my interface. I want to turn on additional quick bars. I want to rearrange things slightly. I have a preload that I like. If I didn't have a preload, I like this as one of the defaults that it comes with called extended quick bars. So if you do that and you hit load, you'll see you get an extra quick bars on the side, extra quick bar on the bottom, if you have them unlocked. If you're playing free, you may not have all of these quick bars yet. It's relatively cheap, though, to get enough cartel coins. I think you can pay like $5 and get enough cartel coins to unlock a bunch of the quick bars and things like that. My preferred layout, though, looks a little bit more like this, which is just one extra quick bar on each side. I've got a couple quick bars stacked up down by the bottom. Thought I had my toggle alignment off. I can even show, I can hide the, no, let me keep the alignment on, because we're going to see what we're going to do about alignment in general, aren't we? The other thing I like to do is check my keybinds. So under preferences, you can go to key bindings, and here you can change all of your key bindings. This is up to you as well. I like two bars down at the bottom, and the way I play is the way I've played MMOs for quite a while, which is I make my lower bar the number keys 1 through 0, and then dash and equals, so it's sort of 12 keys in a row, and then the top row I make the function keys 1 through 12. So you can go down in here and look under quick bar and look at your main quick bar and quick bar number 1, quick bar number 2. You can set your keybinds exactly how you'd like. Once you have them how you'd like, what I would recommend is going to key binding, import, export, and save those key bindings. So then when you get to a new character like this, which I have, I can just load up my key bindings. I have key binding schema alpha here. And I click that, and all my key bindings are now set. Good tip. I would recommend doing that. The other thing I'll do is grab out of my abilities, check into my abilities, grab things like quick travel. I also always like to have that on a quick bar. I like to rearrange things slightly, so I take seethe, put that on 1. I like to have my mark of power, which is all my buffs, at the top on my left quick bar. I use rocket boost when I'm first starting out if I don't have a mount unlocked, although I could on this character. I put rocket boost on number 12, or I put my mounts on F12 there. And then here's some of the main abilities for the Sork, which is shock and lightning strike. These you're going to want to have handy and on hand. Very soon you'll just get rid of Saber Strike. You won't need it at all. But once I've got those all set, give myself a little buff. Have my pal with me. We can walk down and just start killing some stuff.
I have to warn you, I fell off the far side and had to kill a core slug and level to level 2 on one core slug.
Did you? I'm not level 1 core slug.
I don't know why.
Where's my... Don't we have Force Lightning yet? Do you have Force Lightning? Maybe at level 2?
I do at level 2, yeah. But I have to see a trainer.
Oh, thank you for popping out a trainer. If you have Dr. Ogrub or a couple of the other collection items that you can get, like Satil Shan's hollow statue, you can use that as a trainer along the way. I find that quite useful. Force Lightning, that's a quintessential ability for the Sork. This is the thing I always have on for, what are these other ones? Shock and Lightning Strike. Lightning Strike I typically only use on proc, and Shock I use, actually I don't use Shock all that often either. But those are some insta-cast abilities. If you're going to play Lightning spec, these help for burst. Otherwise, which I usually play on my Sorks in Madness, I'm usually using dots for these opponents. Who's that? That's not you, is it? Oh, it is you. Hey,
yes,
group
it is
up.
me.
Group up,
oh, yeah.
Bro. The trainer, Sludgister. The trainer is... It came... So the Ogrub trainer came as a I think it was a pre-order item from a Rise of the Hutt Cartel. So with that in mind, you probably can't get that, but there are other of those trainer hollow statues that you can get. Some of them are quite rare, but there are still ones that you can get, and I would bet they'll have more over time. So keep an eye out for things like the Malgus statue, the Sisteel Shan statue. Those are also trainer hollow statues that you can take around with you. Now that we're grouped up, we're both going to get experience while we fight and kill things. So Seema won't out-level me like she's trying to do. Just to...
It's what I do, man.
Yeah, for the key bindings, as they're saying in the chat room there, I typically have my key bindings where the most used abilities are 4, 3, 2, 1, and F4, F3, F2. And then I'll stretch to 5 and 6, and 6 and 7 for some of the other abilities. I usually use proccing abilities on the F keys and basic abilities on 4, 3, 2, 1. That's just the way I happen to do it, and no real particular reason to do it that way, but I do. All right, let's talk to Sergeant Korriban here. See what he has to say.
Excuse me, Acolyte. Sergeant Korriban, 5th Infantry Company, Korriban Regiment. Can I talk to you?
You better stutter, buddy. You little choked up there?
Yeah, I'll have to turn my sound down after this.
Is this
I'm a
necessary?
little tied up at the moment.
Understood, sir. But I require assistance from someone who can do things I can't. You're one of the slaves Harkin brought in on the last transport,
you called
right?
me slave.
Here to prove yourself to the bloodthirsty overseers?
What business is that of yours?
Apologies if I offended. I thought you might appreciate the chance
I force
to
choke
not
him?
only show off for the overseers, but build some ties with the Imperial military as well. I'm here commanding a hard target mission to exterminate claw slugs in this tomb. They're horrific things. Mouths bigger than your head. I've lost 3 squads of good men fighting them. They come in packs. They'll swallow a man whole.
So there, he just said it. So I've been playing this game for how many years now? 5 years that we've done this? Almost 6 years. He said it right there. So I've heard this probably 50 times. I've heard it for years.
Right.
It wasn't until 2 months ago that I realized it wasn't core slugs.
It wasn't 2 months ago. It was when the companion came out.
Right.
And we noticed that it was
the Chlor Slug companion.
Slug. Yeah.
You're right. And we read it, I'm like looking at it, I'm like, there's the second letter in this word is an L. That doesn't spell Chlor Slug.
Yeah, right.
All right. So what am I saying to this guy? They swell him at, so
Then
what?
I suggest you try a new strategy.
Oh, I guess I timed out.
I've identified the enemy's weak spot, but it's not easy to get at. The damn claw slugs breed so fast there's no way to wipe them out conventionally. So we started targeting their egg chambers. They went insane.
Let's blow
We
them up.
managed to get explosives to all of the egg chambers, but the claw slugs
Nuke
were
them
all
from
over us
orbit. It's the only
before
way
we
to
could
be sure.
detonate them.
Why should I care?
I pretty much still don't care.
I know, but we can't do it without you. You have a tactical advantage my soldiers don't. The Force. That makes you worth a dozen normal men. Don't underestimate those claw slugs, sir. They're smarter than they look.
This dude called me slave. Can't I shock him? Can't I force lightning him? I guess
He
not.
called you slave and then said you were worth a dozen normal men.
Yeah. All right. So Chlor slugs. Let's kill some Chlor slugs. I shouldn't have a
I smite thee with
cooldown
my
on force
stick.
lightning. Did you actually hit it? So if you're playing a Sork, you should never have to hit things with your glow stick. But I will, because why not? After you get a couple levels in, you'll never use your lightsaber as a weapon ever again. It just becomes a stat stick. Question from the chat room. Zen asks, am I using a gaming mouse? I use the G700 Logitech wireless mouse, which does have extra buttons, top buttons here and buttons on the side. I typically don't bind much to these buttons normally. I do bind them on occasion, though, for companion abilities, some extra abilities, depending on what I'm doing. For the most part, though, I don't rely on the mouse bindings. I just find it easier just to keep my core abilities on the keys, as I said, I set up sort of centered around 4 there to the right and left of it.
The main thing I changed on my mouse, and I got used to this a long time ago, is I rebind the scroll wheel so that scrolling forward sends my companion in, and scrolling back brings them back. So I can pull them in and out of AoE effects. And then for zooming the camera, I just make it shift scroll down and shift scroll up.
Oh, that's interesting. I do like that better companion control. I think it's probably even more important because you have tended to play healer classes quite a bit.
Yeah, well, in the beginning, it's not really necessary anymore, but in the beginning, I used to send guys in before I would start casting.
Yeah.
So.
Even when you're playing DPS, I find that's a time, if I'm using my companion quite a bit, that is something I will bind to usually this top button right here by my thumb, just to send the companion in. Because if you send the companion in first, especially if they're tanking, it's really useful to have them attack first.
Especially when I was trying to do things like Star Fortress and other solo endeavors, in my healing spec, you really need to pull your companion in and out of the telegraphs and everything else in those fights.
Yeah. I also find it super useful when you have those kinds of mobs that like to stun or force choke or knock down the first, whoever aggroes them first. So then I just send in my companion and let them get force choked because I don't like getting force choked. It annoys me.
But yeah, if you're running along in a DPS spec and your companion is just running along after you healing, they don't get in as much bad stuff as when you send them in ahead of you. So
right.
Yeah.
Is this person dying? Are you having some problems there? Guman? All right, let's talk to Korriban here again. If you call me slave again, though, I swear I'm gonna force shock you in the face.
I heard the explosions when you set off the charges. Outstanding, sir.
I know, right? All right, and now we get our first reward, which is new gloves and another level.
And he called us sir instead of slave.
He did. Thank you.
Let's kill him.
Let's kill him. So don't forget to
like
use these
gratitude killing.
Mercy killing. Gratitude killing. Well, we'll kill him quick. That's the that's his reward. We'll grant him a quick death.
What dark secret shall I share with you?
Overload. This is a good ability. Overload is also it does damage as well, but its main ability is to knock back. I usually have this on key number 1, so that I can knock back a bunch of enemies if they come close to me. I don't know why I always have it on 1, but usually on my Sorks I have the knockback on 1. Hey, somebody beat up a... Oh, there's some core slugs. Somebody's clearing out... Is this really... How many people are on this planet? 29 people on Korriban. Look, they killed all our mobs already. What are you doing? You still talking to...
Messing with my key bindings.
Trainer?
Because I always put knockback on F3, which is not that convenient.
A little mission laying on the floor here. Imperial Edict. Mercenaries. More stuff to kill. All right, fine. We'll kill that stuff. We'll kill some of these guys along the way. While we're killing this stuff, you want to talk a little bit about some of the news we heard this week, Seema? There is some interesting stuff going on.
I don't know about interesting.
One of them impacts, so some of the class changes were announced, and one of them impacts Sorks. So
that's true.
So we could talk about that.
Lightning.
If we go lightning, do you want to go lightning?
I was thinking of going madness because, mad.
I love madness. I love the madness spec.
Yeah, me too.
They did nerf lightning a little bit and then buffed it a little bit. So the target for lightning was that it was supposed to be a ranged burst spec. It wasn't as bursty as they wanted, but it was doing more damage overall than they wanted. So they nerfed the sustained damage just a little bit and buffed a little bit of the burst damage abilities to make it a little bit more a little bit burstier. So madness is ranged sustain and lightning now should be ranged burst. People are mad. The two other DPS updates that they made were for Deception Assassin, Infiltration Shadow, which got a good little nerfing, and Annihilation Marauder, Watchman Sentinel, which also got nerfed. So now that I see, and that pretty much wraps up, in addition to all the other announcements of what's going in and what has already gone into, and what's going into 5.5, that wraps up all of the nerfs and buffs of all the classes that they're putting into the game at this point. So once they look past the October release to the next one, whenever that's going to be, they may look at utilities after the fact, but they feel like they're now done with class balance, to some degree at least.
I mean, until they start digging into the utilities, I guess.
So... Two Little Lies in the chat room says, don't see why people get mad about it. I typically don't either. People act like it's much bigger of a change than it really is. I don't think it's that big a change for any of these. However, for anybody that does feel like a change, the part that I sympathize with is right now with the state of the game and the way it works, it's difficult to change classes, to change mains. You used to be able to do it much more easily in the past. You used to be able to say, all right, I don't like this, even though it was a little nerf, I'm a little mad that you nerfed my mercenary. I'm going to switch to my Sork. Oh, now I have 300 levels of command XP I need to grind before I'm getting tier 4 gear on my Sork. That is a little painful.
I was more upset when they broke my hair. When they did that thing where when you jump up and down and like the back of my head bald would show, and I was like, no, I don't like that. So I changed her Seema's hairstyle to a hairstyle that didn't have that problem. But to me, I understand because I'm looking at it the whole time, and it was just driving me batty. And yeah. Whereas the tiny nerfs to make your numbers fit into a spreadsheet seems much more removed to me.
Right. So my class got nerfed. You know, one thing that I wish they had done, and if I ruled the world and when I have a game company and have, $100 million of my own money to make an MMO, first I'll get $100 million. Then I will make my own MMO. But what I'll do if I ever need to do class balance is I will raise the difficulty of all of the bosses and mobs and then only buff classes. Never nerf any class, which they could have done. So what they did here is it seemed like they took the lowest, the lowest of the performing classes that were supposed to be performing at their average and then nerfed everything down to that level. And I think that what you ended up with was 80% of the changes that they made, pretty good, 80, 85% of the changes that they made were nerfs. And boy, that's pretty painful. It just feels bad. Even if it's small, even if it's tiny, everybody's class, everybody's favorite specs getting nerfed just feels bad. So I would have handled it a little bit differently. I know you can't always do that, and maybe it's much more complicated from a math perspective to be having to buff all of the mobs and bosses, but it feels bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like a way of thinking about game development that people are just used to. Oh, I didn't set my thing.
So what Seema and I are doing here is we're going into a class area, and what I need to do is go into preferences. We each need to go in preferences under social, I believe, and click this option that says allow access to same class / personal phases. So when we do this, we'll still have to do this little part twice, once for each of us. But when I go in, Seema will get the option then, oh, you're already in there. I can join yours or mine. So we'll do mine first.
Oh, okay.
Because we both walked in, we both had them started. So now Seema will be able to come in and help me with my class story and sort of ride along. It won't complete her class story, even though it's the same story. So we'll have to do hers real quick too, and we're going to do that as we level these up. But we will now be able to sort of see how this looks and both go in at the same time. Who are these dudes? We're talking to Spindrel. That's right.
And that's another point about balance that Peter's made in the chat room, is that there's a perception, and it may be true, that the class balance is really about PvP, and that it affects PvE, but the real reason they do it is for PvP. Right.
The real reason they do it is for PvP. If you are not doing to some degree hard mode content, definitely if you're doing nightmare content, then these kinds of changes will impact you. If you're doing hard mode content, they actually don't impact you very much. And if you're not doing hard mode operations or master mode flashpoints, then really any of these nerfs don't make all of that big of a difference, because there's things like bolster, and there's even not having gear is not much of an issue. You can play your class, everyone can play their class pretty well and get through all story content with practically naked. So I wouldn't worry about it. People that are doing ranked PvP, it's a big deal. Especially if you have a team and you have 4 players and you had a particular healer because it was slightly better and it used special utilities, and now that particular healer got nerfed and the balance is off with what your team needs, that could have a significant impact. So it's more of an impact to those players, but you could still see it be an issue. All right,
so now I'm in spectator mode for his story.
Not unexpected. The Sith are not friendly to your kind, but that will be an advantage, I think.
Oh, you think so?
You are here for your trial, yes? Learn the ways of the Sith from a doddering old man in a tomb, and hopefully to return to your master with the mark of my approval.
Stay a while and listen.
Actually, I just came to get some fresh air.
You take me for a fool. No one comes into these tombs for the sheer pleasure of it. Not even me. No, they come for power, because they sense that these tombs hold secrets of the dark side. And
you're looking for the secrets, I see.
But before you can learn them,
is that what I did? I looked around.
Trial of blood.
Secrets?
Survive this, and I will teach you what I know.
Oh, survive. Oh, these dudes are gonna... Good. I'll just kill all your pals. How about that, Spindrel? Ooh, that was a Marauder. I'm gonna kill that one first. 10 credits as the Marauder leaps in first.
If I had 10 credits, I would. Ooh.
Ooh, that's a little disturbing.
Yeah.
Are they all sort of...
I don't think that was an option in character creation.
Where's the Marauder one? Is he not here? No, he's sitting down there. Oh. Alright. I'll fry you. Boom. That was... The Marauder left. The Marauder already went on to the next fight.
He heard... Oh. He's pulling. He's in the next room. We're joking about Marauders because we razz a friend of ours. It's not... If you're a Marauder listening to this...
Delete your character and re-roll, man. I love Marauders. I think I do not have area loot on.
In fact, we were going to roll Marauders instead of... That was our first idea, but then we realized that we didn't know how to play them.
Yes, I really don't know the differences between the different Marauder specs. I looked it up the other day. Where's loot preferences? I think
it's under controls.
Enable area loot. I have it. Oh, is this personal loot because you're killing some and I am also?
I don't know.
Auto loot on right click, enable area loot. So this is what you would turn on to make sure you're looting all of the targets at once. Do not auto target closest enemy. I don't like that. You can if you want, but what I find, especially when you're with a group and you're CCing targets, if you're doing that, it's very easy to slip because a target dies a little more quickly than you thought, and you just keyed up your next key, or you hit your key too quickly, and then you'll go and the next target happens to be a CC target that's close to you. I don't like to auto target, so I always manually target. All right, let's go finish up.
WellFan007 comments that class balance is a waste of development time because they never finish doing it. And I think it is an ongoing process. It's like painting the San Francisco Bridge. Once they get to the end, they start again at the beginning.
Yes,
and
the Golden Gate Bridge. That's a good point.
In all games. I think that's gainful employment for the devs.
It is a little bit late in this cycle to be balancing classes, though. I mean, I think that's a good point. It does have to be an ongoing process, but now it's so late, and we're in the middle of another PvP season. I think it's a little bit rough the way they did it now. All right, let's talk to Spindrel, and then we'll talk about the New York Cantina.
These former acolytes wanted nothing more than to earn their second chance for glory by killing you and taking your place. But your desire proved stronger. and their blood became the mantle of your victory.
Yeah.
Well done. But you are not
a
Sith
Jedi
yet.
yet.
Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, power. Through power, victory.
I know
Through
this part.
victory, my chains are broken. This
Remember
is the
that.
Sith
You're going to need to know
code.
it later.
Committed to your heart, and you will have the strength to crush your enemies.
Just
Do
tell him
you
to shut up.
understand?
Sure. I'm dark side, right?
There is nothing that you can teach me that I don't already know, old man.
Then leave. Return to Harkon and nurture your hatred for him. And use your fear of him to grow strong.
I'm not afraid of him. You're
He may
afraid.
raise his fist to strike, but it is Lord Zash who determines where the blow will land.
What's this now with this Lord Zash?
But who controls Zash, I wonder?
Yeah, who watches the
When you
Watchmen?
know the answer to that, you will have power over both your masters. Now, go. Leave me to my rest.
That is quite a belt, isn't it? On him.
There's quite a belt on him.
Look at that. I haven't seen a belt like that in the game. Your little pet. I gotta find one of those. He's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, he is.
He just picked something off the ground and ate it. All right.
He's easy to take care of.
Okay. New York Cantina. I think we know some people that are going to be going to the New York Cantina, don't we?
Yeah. Zen is going to go. And
Zen
also
in the chat room?
Marcus, right?
I believe so. So the New York Cantina is coming up on Friday, October 6th. And I also heard we may be getting some news around that time. Finally, what news are we going to get, Seema?
Maybe the roadmap.
Maybe the roadmap. Finally.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Which is scheduled to show us loads of content coming pretty much in 2-week intervals. So they said, lots of stuff going on between now and the end of the year, and yeah, looking forward to that.
Did you see my my qualifications in the notes there? Supposedly, lots will be happening every 2 weeks. Supposedly, we'll hear what's going to happen through the end of 2017, and supposedly a glimpse of 2018. So it's taken quite a while to get this roadmap out. Yes, we all know that it's taken too long, and I think they agree. Communication has slowed down. Things did get complicated. We'd had some problems with the last update. We know that. So they were overcompensating a bit. I think for that.
That last update put a hitch in their get along.
Yeah. So hopefully things will get back on track. Hopefully we'll be hearing more from Keith on a regular basis again. I don't know what this lots happening every couple weeks is, because there hasn't been lots happening all that often lately, unless they're counting like the rat ghouls are back. Not that that bothers me, because I love the rat ghouls, but having rat ghouls and having bounty contract week, I hope that, that's overselling it a little bit if that's part of the lots that's happening.
No, I agree.
So we'll see. I know there are plenty of things that they can do. Oh, look, little datapad lore object. Click on all the glowy blue things. Some of them will kill you, but that's a risk I'm willing to take.
That's right.
So we'll see what happens with the roadmap. So what they said specifically.
Imperial Edict.
Oh no, I didn't.
Cooking on things. I
Where
didn't
is
either.
it?
So maybe we haven't gotten to it yet.
Oh no, it's all the way south. I forgot. We missed it down here. You gotta go down.
I knew this was gonna happen. We were yakking.
We're getting all distracted. That's okay. Oh, we didn't read the codex. Zen is saying read the codex entry. Do you so if you hit L, you can go into your codex entries. But I have them also. I don't know which one that was. I have no idea. I have no idea what it was. Oh no, maybe I don't. No, it's per. It must be per character. Is that what it is? Tomb Raiders? So Lara Croft and whatnot? Tomb of Ajunta Paul. Which one was it?
Organizations, Tomb Raiders.
These Color slugs are chomping on you, Seema.
I'm not afraid of no Color slugs.
All right, next lore object. You're not doing it right. You're ruining the game. All right, next lore object. I'll pay attention and I'll read it.
Okay, here it is, though. The ancient Sith tombs of Korriban have long been a target of raiders and treasure seekers with dreams of valuable plunder. While many are the minions and hirelings of Sith lords hoping to lay their hands on powerful relics, others are daring fortune hunters who come from off-world and risk conflict with the Sith. Individual pirates and rogues occasionally arrive, stowed away on ships, but a more organized group led by an eccentric underworld figure has infiltrated shipments of slaves sent to the Red Planet. Once on the surface, the slaves, quote-unquote, sneak into the tombs and few ever leave Korriban, but those who survive are paid handsomely for their trouble.
Fascinating.
Tomb Raiders.
That is fascinating. So is that Darth Laura Croft? One of the Tomb Raiders? Get it, Tomb Raider?
No, explain it to me.
The joke?
I do not get
usual.
the Tomb Raider reference. Please explain.
There's a lot of Chlor slugs. I have a Chlor slug companion I could pull out. Can't use it until I get to the fleet. Because the pet droid companions you need to be able to get to the fleet to use. But I've got one.
Why do you have to be able to get to the fleet?
Because you have to turn it in the cartel bazaar. You redeem the token, you get the authorization, and then you turn it in down in the
I'm pretty sure we could go to the fleet
bazaar.
right now if we wanted to. Because I think we can go to our strongholds and then go to fleet from there. Maybe. Maybe it won't let you.
Maybe the last thing we do tonight is we'll try that out because we are getting close to the end of our time and are only level 4 and haven't even gotten to the Sith Academy yet.
Right.
And you got to go back in and talk to Spindle.
I know. I was just going to say I have to go back and do my story.
How come I didn't get credit for this one? All right. Do you have 3?
I have 3, yeah.
Tomb Looter. Why isn't it called Tomb Raider? Lightning is still just so satisfying. That guy stunned me. The brute.
I like throwing rocks at things too.
Yeah. Tiny
and
pebbles.
I like whacking things over the head with a lifesaver.
So Peter says there is a quick travel icon if you do redeem the token for the companion that in theory should be able to take you to where you need to go to turn it in. So that's something to check out as well. But as I said, if you've got, especially if you've got Nico Okar or Zoom Z0OM or Shea Vizsla, all of those just show up in your mailbox and you get those immediately. Or the Jedi. What's her name? Jedi Master
Ranos.
Ranos. Yep. That's another one. So Zen's got a suggestion that he told Charles Boyd that the codexes should show on random loading screens. And that is a great idea. I was listening to Bad Feelings podcast this past week, and in one of their last 2 episodes, they were ranting about old text still showing up on the load screens as tips that has no bearing on the game anymore. Like, you can use your Warzone accommodations to get rewards. Yeah, there's no such thing as Warzone accommodations anymore in the game.
Well, my loading screen is stuck on the like I just saved McKeb.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Brian from the Bad Feelings podcast said the exact same thing. They're having that big problem where theirs are all saying, Go finish McKeb. What is wrong with you? All right, so here we are on our way into the Sith Academy. we didn't touch on it much, but I have a bunch of lore. Korriban is a fascinating place. I recommend you look it up, and maybe next time when we come back, we'll still be on Korriban. I'm sure we can talk a little bit more about the lore. But this is the Sith Academy. This is the part of the ruins. A lot of this has a lot of ancient history associated with it, and it comes in, as all of Star Wars: The Old Republic does, in the middle of the Old Republic lore. Remember, there was a whole bunch of things going on prior to this in BioWare canon back through Knights of the Old Republic, when Revan and Malak were coming to Korriban, when Korriban was still sort of a forgotten world, even though it had been, many thousands of years before this even had things happening to it.
Right.
But Korriban is fascinating as part of the Old Republic lore as well. So we're at a time period where it's rediscovered. There's a lot going on here. It's a base of training and operation for Sith Lords. It's got the Sith Academy on it, and they've sort of recovered a lot of knowledge that's hidden in these tombs and things like that. So that's something cool. I definitely recommend looking around. You pointed this out when we were in here some other time, Seema. All of this ancient writing on all of the textures. It's really quite cool. I like this place.
Zen says the core slugs are better than the flesh raiders on Tython. I have to say, though, I like the flesh raiders. I think they look sort of puppy-like. And
there's that one that talks to you, so you got that going for you. I want a talking chlor slug.
That's next. It'll be in the roadmap. I shouldn't say things like that.
I really like looking up in the sky in Star Wars and seeing like star destroyers and moons and planets and clouds moving and things like that. I find that a great part of the game. I also find still fascinating, even just as we're walking through this, the first time I ever played Star Wars, the thing that impressed me the most, for whatever reason, it's not like it all takes all that many more resources or any more resources necessarily, but the scale is these places are huge, and the spaceports were huge, and I was landing, the large spaceships were landing in these large spaceports. I played plenty of other MMOs where, a whole map for a whole zone would fit into the Coruscant spaceport. So it's cool, sort of cool that way.
Yeah, it is very large.
And it's not that there's all that much, everything's just sort of spread out, but I like how they scaled it. You checking your mail again?
Well, there's one that hasn't
Did you get something new?
Turned off. No. I have to go through them. There's one apparently that I didn't click. It's still showing as new mail.
All right, well, we have been going quite a while on our first run through here. We had a little bit of time where we're doing startup and showing some of the character creation, talking about some of the starting elements of the game. I think we'll go a little more rapidly through the starting planet next time we play, but this is how we're going to do it. We're going to go and talk a little bit about news. We're going to play the game, and in between playing the game, talk about anything else we need to talk about. Sort of targeting about 45 minutes to an hour each time we fire it up and check it out. I think we've been going about 45, 50 minutes tonight so far. Love your feedback. I would like to hear what anyone else thinks about sort of this new style, how we're playing it. We certainly thought it would be fun for us, and that's the main reason we're doing it. So
if you're thinking about starting a new character, or if you're new to the game, don't worry about having all the gear that you need, because as you can see, we're running around, we're just in whatever gear they gave us to start with and doing just fine. So jump in. If you want to try a new character and you feel like, I don't have any gear for that character, forget it, go for it.
Yep, absolutely. And if you are looking for a guild, which we'll probably talk about next week, because we'll probably put our characters in the guild because there's bonuses for doing that. But we have a guild on Jedi Covenant that you can come and join. It's AIE Guild, AIE-guild.org is where you can get more information. I would love to have more people come joining us and doing things like our fun mandatory fun night, which is an open guild night we had tonight. I had fun killing Nightmare Pilgrim. I know you did as well, Seema, although you had to heal it. Seema's our master healer in the guild.
Thank God for Kobu and Rakavan who were healing with me.
One other thing I want to mention, why don't we walk up here to the cantina while we're wrapping up here?
Yes.
Cantina is a great place to log out, especially if you do not have any other place, which gives you rest when you're logging out. You want to do that.
Even if you're a serious Sith, apprentice/slave, you still get a cantina.
Yes. And it's not bad to stop in there and have a couple drinks. Chilled Corellian cocktail, I recommend it.
Listen to the jukebox.
One other thing I wanted to call out in terms of community news is keep an eye out for the Extra Life charity event that's coming up in a couple weeks. I think in about a month. I think it's the beginning of November. Passionately Casual. 4th. Passionately Casual has quite a bit lined up that they're going to be doing. I know a couple of our guildies join up with them to be part of their Extra Life gaming event. I've joined Jesse and played with them and gone to some of their parts of the Extra Life streaming events in the past as well. They're going to have Eric Musco as part of their Extra Life event, and some of the things they're going to have a little fun with him on a couple of the nights. I think they're streaming one of the days. I think it's a 48-hour event this year. So
24
you may have
hours.
24 hours straight. Maybe they're doing.
Corey said they were doing for 24 hours, and no, Corey's going to do it for 20. One of our guildies was mentioning this to us, and he's going to be playing 24 hours. It's in support of the Children's Miracle Network, which is a network of children's hospitals. So if you choose to contribute, you can direct your money to a hospital local to you. It's not something far away. It's local. So I highly recommend it. But yeah, the event I think goes for 48 hours. But Corellian Run Radio and some other groups too will be streaming probably for 24 hours or however much they can put in.
Thank you for your patronage.
Yeah, so look for that and support Extra Life if you can.
Excellent. So here we are in the cantina. Cantina, the reason why we came in here, if you didn't notice that, if you haven't noticed what this does for you, when we walked in, it says you have entered a rest zone. When your character's in a rest zone, you slowly build up rested XP bonus as you're logged out, or even while you're logged in, and that gives you double XP for that period when you come back to the game. This is definitely useful if you're playing with other people, and they come and play on a night when you're not in here. See, I already got, I think, maybe 1 point of rest. Yes, I have 1 point of rested XP. But this is a little bit of a catch-up mechanic if you're logged out. So log out in a rested area. Your personal starship is a rested area. The fleet is a rested area. There's a lot of rested areas. If you're on one of these starting planets, though, the cantinas are the traditional rested areas. So good luck with that. And with that, I think our EPC 212 droid will ship out and broadcast this podcast, and we'll be back next week to pick things up right from here. Please keep up with us on Twitter at MaxTheGray and at AIESEMA, and subscribe, follow, bookmark us in all the places, including newoverlords.com, iTunes, YouTube, and Twitch. Also, as I said, come find us on Jedi Covenant and ask us for an AIE Guild invite, and check us out on AIE-guild.org, because we would love to have you. And we will talk to you soon.
Good night, everyone.